All right, let's talk about bravery. What does it really mean to be brave? We're going to dive into that question with a story about a little mouse named Pip. Now, Pip, he seems totally fearless, but trust me, he's hiding a pretty big secret. And his story, it just might change how you think about your own courage. Seriously, have you ever had to do that? Pretend you weren't afraid at all, even when on the inside your heart was just hammering away in your chest? I think we've all been there, right? Well, that feeling, that's exactly what this story is about. Okay, so let's meet this little guy, Pip. To everyone else, he's the mouse, you know? He's clever, he's skillful, he's the one who seems like he's afraid of nothing. But that's just what everyone sees. On the inside, it's a totally different story. Pip was secretly terrified of all the weird new shadows that the holiday lights were making. He never, ever let on, but his little heart would just be pounding. So, picture this. It's New Year's Eve. The family in the house, they light this big new candle. And that flickering flame, it throws this brand new, totally terrifying shadow up on the wall. And for little Pip, well, it's basically his worst nightmare coming true. And you have to understand, from Pip's point of view, this wasn't just some shadow. No way. It was a monster. A dancing, toothy creature with these long, creepy legs. And it wasn't just him. The other young mice, they saw it too, and they just froze, absolutely terrified. So you can just feel the tension, right? All the little mice are huddled up, totally paralyzed, just staring at this thing on the wall. What in the world could be making a shadow that scary? And the source of all this panic? You're not going to believe it. It was just a fork. A plain old dinner fork. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? A perfect example of how our own fear can take something totally normal and turn it into a monster. Okay, so just when you think things can't get any more intense, the stakes get way higher. A gorgeous red bead, and this isn't just any bead, it's super important for a holiday surprise, it falls off the tree. And where does it land? Right next to the monster. And of course, every single mouse turns and looks at one guy, Pip, the brave one. Talk about pressure. But Pip, he's just frozen solid. His paws are trembling, his tail is twitching. He is so close to just admitting it, you know? I'm too scared, I can't do it. But right at that moment, just as he's about to let the fear win, a memory pops into his head. Something his grandfather once told him. And this is the memory that changes everything. His grandfather's words, bravery is not when you are not afraid. Bravery is when you are afraid, but you do what you must. Wow. I mean, that's really the heart of this whole story, isn't it? It's not about being fearless. It's about doing what you have to do, even when you're scared. That memory is a complete game changer for Pip. It's like a light bulb goes off. He realizes he doesn't have to put on a show anymore. He doesn't have to pretend. He can actually be afraid. And that's okay. What really matters is what he decides to do now. And this is where we see that huge mental shift. He stops trying to push his fear away. Instead, he just admits it to himself. He thinks, okay, I am afraid of this shadow. But then comes the important part. But that bead is more important than my fear. He found a reason, a purpose that was bigger than what was scaring him. And that bead, for everyone's sake, that became his mission. So he doesn't just charge in there. Not at all. He takes one slow, trembling step forward. He's still absolutely scared. But as he inches closer, he starts to see the truth. The shadow's just flat on the wall. It can't move. It can't actually hurt him. So with a shaky little paw, he reaches out, grabs the bead, and snatches it back to safety. See? He acted with his fear. He didn't wait for it to go away. So Pip gets back with the bead, and the other mice just go wild. They're all cheering, "Pip, you're so fearless. You aren't scared at all." They think he faced the monster without a single drop of fear. But Pip, he knows the real story now. And so, for the first time, he tells them the truth. He's done pretending. He says, I was scared, but I went anyway because getting that bead was more important than being afraid. And with that one sentence, bam, he totally redefines what bravery means for all of them. So, what's the big takeaway from Pip's adventure? Well, it kind of breaks down into this really simple but super powerful 3-step guide to being courageous. Step 1, just admit you're scared. Acknowledge the fear. That's the first victory. Step 2, figure out what's more important than that fear. Find your bead. And finally, Step 3, act. Let that goal, that purpose, give you the strength to take that first step, even if your knees are knocking. And so this whole story about a tiny mouse and the shadow of a fork, it leaves us with a really big question to ask ourselves. I want you to think about a fear you have right now. Got it? Okay. Now, think about a goal that is genuinely, deeply important to you. What could you achieve? What could you do if you decided, just like Pip, that your goal was more important than your fear?